Hi, everyone. Welcome to the BizApps Marketing Minutes podcast. I'm your host, Adam Berezin, co-founder and CEO of MSDW, and I am thrilled to have you all here with us today. So for those of you who aren't too familiar with the BizApps Marketing Minutes podcast, this is the place where we chat with marketing and business leaders in the Microsoft space to really dive deep into critical strategies that drive success for both ISVs and partners. The theme of today's discussion is actually partner readiness in 2025. And our guest today is Erica Hakonson, who's the founder and CEO of Maven Collective. Erica, thank you so much and welcome to the BizApps Marketing Minutes podcast.
Thank you, Adam. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of us in the space that are not too familiar with Maven Collective, can you give us an overview about what you do in the space, the problems you solved? And I know you're the founder of the company, so it'd be great to hear a little bit about how you started the business as well.
Yeah, well, I know you and I have had this conversation a couple of times, Adam, because we've had some discussions and work together. But Maven Collective was a idea that came into fruition in 2012. I worked previously at Microsoft and I worked with a lot of partners there. I have a background in strategy and marketing, working with Microsoft partners on technology adoption programs and rapid deployment programs there. And basically loved that work, loved working with partners, found the work with partners fascinating. And I just saw a major gap in how partners were partnering with Microsoft and what they needed, how they needed to differentiate themselves to succeed. So Microsoft gives a lot of great information to partners, but it is coming in one voice and one tone. And as partners just reuse that voice and tone, it kind of falls flat. Everything sounds the same. So with over 500,000 partners across the world, I don't have to tell you, this is like a very complex ecosystem, right? You've been in it a long time. And partners need more to crack the code. It can't just be what Microsoft puts out. It has to be exactly what they can do to move the needle for their clients. And that's where Maven Collective comes in. We do the work to find that differentiation point and to communicate that and promote that, and use the right channels to both let them be identified by prospective clients, but also let them be recognized by Microsoft.
Awesome. So you work with a ton of partners in the space, and I know some of them. There's a ton that I don't know that you work with. And you help partners do all kinds of different things in the Microsoft channel, which is really cool. And as I mentioned earlier, I really want to focus on kind of what partners need to do in 2025 to really accelerate their business. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because you're in the trenches with these partners and you know all about this stuff. So, I guess, let me start off by asking sort of from a priority perspective, what should partners do in 2025 to remain competitive and meet evolving client expectations, of which I'm sure there are many now?
Yeah. I mean, I just touched on this, so I'll make a couple of points for this answer. One would be they have to be different. If they sound like Microsoft and they sound like every other Microsoft partner, then you're just competing on price. Go find the cheapest person to do what you need to be done. So they really need to focus on their specialization and being able to communicate that well to show their value. So we work hard with our Microsoft partner clients to get in front of their intended audience and to position them well in front of their intended audience. That's key. That's not new, but it's something that often gets forgotten. Once you have that differentiation, though, it's getting into the right channels. So it's getting into the Microsoft marketplaces like AppSource and Azure Marketplace. It's architecting campaigns that are strategic and go across thought leadership, search engine optimization, something new in 2025, answer optimization, answer engines with AI being adopted so widely, paid advertising, media placement, such as with Microsoft Dynamics World, which we've done with you, virtual and in-person events, sales tools, like that myriad of channels that you have to be in front of the audience, meet them where they are. That has to be done well and repetitively and consistently so that you're actually driving that demand. And, for all the partners that went to Ignite in Chicago, or, maybe you joined it online, like, hello, AI Copilot, it's not going anywhere. We've tripled, quadrupled, infinitely increased spending on it. This is Microsoft's priority. So it's no longer an option. What was announced the year before, which was fun and shiny, it's now a necessity everywhere. And so partners have to really think critically about how they're introducing this into their offerings. Microsoft's continuing to expand where Copilot is going to exist in their stack of technologies. And so partners have to think long and hard of what they're going to offer with that. I was just saying, coming on this call, I came off a call with a client that we're onboarding, and wow, like the things that they're doing with the AI already, I had no idea you could even possibly do that for the construction space and in the healthcare space and the manufacturing space. So it's something that has to be worked on and focused on. And our side of things, we take advantage of having Copilot at our fingertips now. That switch from you have to be over 300 people to even get to touch a Copilot, that had heavily shifted the market of, who's going to be using Copilot. So, Copilot's never going to replace innovation and strategy. It's not that, but it is going to help you deliver faster, more efficiently. It's going to help you with ideation and drafting. And, for us, we even give us a final proofread. What did we miss? For this though, we actually did a session with you, with the MSDW team last year, live at the partner marketing event on AI and Copilot and how partners can be using it in their marketing. And we actually had a follow-up webinar that we did on the Maven Collective marketing site. So if partners are interested in learning how to use AI to really advance their marketing and use it as a tool to help them better market in 2025, they can go watch that now. It's on demand, mavencollectivemarketing.com, and we have that webinar available. Very well attended, popular event, lots of great feedback from partners.
No, that's awesome. One thing that I found all of that interesting. One thing that stuck out to me was the fact that you kind of touched upon how partners, they can't really, it's okay to sort of, they are pushing Microsoft and they're obviously, Microsoft partners, but they sort of have to have their own voice, which could then help separate themselves from other partners. I thought that was really interesting. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, do you envision that, or have you seen that be sort of presented more as like a unique message through different types of content, or is it how they sort of position the offerings in general that Microsoft has? Is it creating sort of their own IP around certain Microsoft products? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll give you a really interesting, what's forming into a very compelling case study of a client we helped over the last year, really to redefine who they were in the market. So this may be not 100% relevant to who is on this call. It's a CSP instead of an ISP or an SI, but I'll give an example because it's the work that's coming to mind based on all of the success we're seeing. But over the last year, we took what was a SharePoint intranet shop. They put SharePoint's intranet in place. It's like 2010. They were specialists. They had a deep bench of talent. They had a deep bench of expertise. And that was kind of their pitch, right? They're a SharePoint shop. But even though they had all of this expertise and talent and everything behind them, if you went to search for them online, it was kind of like there's a million SharePoint shops, like lots of people to play SharePoint. So we did a deep dive, and it's a client we've had for a couple of years, and we've made recommendations on needing to really strategically approach their brand again. And they heard us and they said, let's take that leap. Let's have you talk to our customers. And what happened was, what they thought was their expertise and value was completely different than what their clients felt that their expertise and value was. And so we put together this brand messaging framework, interviewing lots of their clients. And what it boiled down to is what the value they brought is they elevate people's workplaces. And that, sure, they do that with SharePoint and Teams and Power BI and Power Automate and all of these things. But the value they bring is they elevate a workplace so that people can find more productive and fulfilling work. They can focus on the things that really bring purpose and value to the companies that they work for, and they're not tied down by software that doesn't work for them, or software they don't trust, or all of these things. So they went from the SharePoint shop to this mission of elevate your workplace. It completely transformed how the company talked about themselves. It completely transformed how they approached the client. It completely transformed the conversations they were having with clients. We actually created an Elevate Success framework out of listening to their approach and just documenting it and defining it and making this kind of circle of how they elevate workplaces. And everything about how they talk to clients, how they service clients has changed. And it's not that it wasn't who they were. It was exactly who they were. They just weren't explaining it thoroughly and in a way that was compelling to attract other clients.
Yeah.
So we launched their website and their new brand in September, and they've had 520% increase in conversions on their website since we launched it. Yeah.
That's a great success story.
And the quality of leads
really
is
cool.
completely different.
Yeah, I'm
so
sure.
Not only are they getting more leads, the quality of leads that they are getting, it's totally different. And the conversations that they're having are completely different.
Yeah, interesting. No, that's really good advice to all partners out there, I feel like.
Yeah.
No, that's very cool. So there's sort of the individuality aspect of it in terms of messaging and branding. And then there's sort of the kind of alignment of strategies with where Microsoft is going. So I would imagine that there has to be a nice balance between the two. How do you think partners can kind of maintain that unique messaging while at the same time still aligning with Microsoft's goals?
Yeah. So it is a conversation that we have often with clients, because really your best partner in the space is Microsoft, and they do support you and can fund you and do fund a lot of partners, a lot of people that we work with. And so I think you really follow Microsoft's leads in some way and then take your tailored, personalized approach to it. So Microsoft is focused on AI and Copilot. We heard that over and over again. We're almost getting smashed over the head with it. Every Copilot has an agent, all of these things. But what does that mean to you as a partner? And what does that mean to your clients? And how does that bring value to your clients? So that's where the strategy comes in. That's where, we say, yes, we have an answer to these things. And there's some opportunity, obviously, in the market for this. Just as I was saying, this really interesting client that we're working with, we're actually working with them on a brand exercise right now. We're developing that brand framework with them right now to just go like, how do you go to market differently and where does that value lie? We're getting a lot of great information from their clients. But one way that you can really learn more about Microsoft's priorities and align with Microsoft's priorities is through the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program. So I'm sure you've talked about this a lot.
It's interesting though.
It's one where you can really maximize the opportunity you have with Microsoft and also define yourself differently than the other 500,000 Microsoft partners you're competing against, right? Like that's a really ominous number.
Sure.
What we did here and what we have seen in the research Microsoft has put out is that if you are investing in that program, which previously was that legacy silver gold competency thing, if you're investing in designations and showing your clients that you are particularly skilled in certain workloads like modern work and business applications and security and infrastructure, they have documented that Microsoft partners are growing at a much faster rate than Microsoft partners that are not designated.
Interesting.
So it is one thing to, give yourself that badge. It's another thing to say it's actually helping partners grow because it's showing your expertise.
Yeah. Can you explain to the audience what designations are?
Yeah. So, they are a lot like the legacy competencies, I think was what silver and gold used to be called. Those legacy competencies kind of fit in buckets of Microsoft products. Designations are the same thing. Once you join the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program, they have a very interesting and helpful scorecard that can tell you how well you're doing to achieving one of these competencies, the ones that I mentioned before, BizApps, data and AI, infrastructure, security. So with that, if you are a BizApps organization, you can join, see where you're at. There's a whole bunch of different scoring. It's based on, partner of record. It's based on your certifications and competencies. So all of that is unique to you as an organization. It's a scorecard that Microsoft is keeping on every partner that wants to be designated. You can get specializations beyond that. And in fact, we also learned at Ignite that there will be quite a few other new designations released this year, including a specialization in Copilot. So another reason to pay attention to Copilot. So this is stuff we help partners with all the time, because actually you need a designation to be on a marketplace as well. So that's another criteria to be able to participate on AppSource and Azure Marketplace. There's other marketplaces like Team Store and Partner Solution Gallery, those types of things, but designations are required to participate in some of those. So this is day-to-day work that we do with clients all the time to kind of tell them what they need on that scorecard and help them move that scorecard so that they can open up different opportunities to partner with Microsoft better.
Yeah. So there's the designations, and then you mentioned specializations. Is there a difference between those? Do you often find that it's best for partners to have a designation from like a product or technology perspective, and then a specialization as far as maybe an industry is concerned or industries? And then also one other question I had too on that note was, how many designations should a partner have? What are some factors? Like, why would somebody just have one as opposed to 2 or 3 or 4?
Yeah. It's a complicated program, right? It's not something that you and I are going to be able to totally explain or tackle here in this call, but great questions of designations versus specializations. Specializations do show you have further competency than just a designation. So highly recommend to show an established authority that the clients look into that. Partners, we call them clients.
Yeah.
We work with partners that have all 6 designations, which is the amount you're allowed to have right now.
Yeah.
Which will change in 2025. And we work with partners that have one specialization because all they do is modern work. So, having a infrastructure designation doesn't really fit who they're working with, and it doesn't really fit the work that they do. So
that makes sense.
I don't think getting designations just to get a designation makes sense for partners, but if it's within the work that you do and the work that you want to deliver to clients, absolutely it makes sense to make sure that you're designated. Like I said, it gets you into a smaller category of partners that has that specialization and establishes authority. There are a limited number of partners that are designated. 2, it opens up new channels to be able to showcase your both product or consulting services with Microsoft. So that's where the marketplaces come in. And again, this is conversations that we have with partners all the time. But, if you're one of the few partners that's in marketplace for having that designation and for having that offering, that already shortlists you down from, 100 other partners that don't have that ability to talk to. That validation from Microsoft in those areas shows your authority. It is a third-party endorsement. And so it's very well worth investing in. So, I'll just stress it again, because I want to make sure that you heard what Microsoft has published, but they have said partners with designations are growing at a faster rate of partners that don't have a designation. So is it worth it? It seems like in the studies, it absolutely is. And actually, we launched a survey mid last year for Microsoft partners. Hundreds of partners filled it out, and it was all about their partnership with Microsoft. And it's because the questions we answer maybe are the same questions you get, Adam, but the questions are, how many partners are designated? Is it worth being designated? How many partners are funded? What type of funding they're doing? What type of events are they paying for? Where are they getting the most out of investing in their strengthening their relationship with Microsoft? And what we've discovered so far, and we're in kind of initial drafts of our benchmarking report, is really interesting. It is really interesting for all scales of partners. And it was a worldwide study. So we'll publish and we'll give you the demographics of how all of that works. But it was questions we had too. It's things partners want to know the answers to and get asked every day. And it's not very transparent of how many partners are designated, and it's not very transparent. I mean, that's one of the things I heard Microsoft say was that partners are growing faster, but like, what does that mean? Does that mean they're getting more funding? Does that mean that their revenue's growing? Like, what does that mean? So that was our answer to it, is that we have our own study, we have our own survey. We're publishing this in March. We're actually going to talk about it with you, Adam, at the DynamicsCon partner marketing event. So we're really excited to kind of dissect that information further to that audience of partners and make sure it's meaningful to them. But we will be launching that in March. So I'll be happy to share more about it once we have that published.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm super excited about those results too. So definitely looking forward to that. And I know we've talked a lot about AI, and I don't know about you, I've heard that term mentioned just a few times.
Once, then maybe in 2025, maybe once.
Oh yeah. And it's interesting, we know AI is transforming the way both partners and ISVs kind of create their solutions, as you were stating earlier about one of your clients and how they're using AI as when it comes to marketing though, what have you seen so far partners are doing to sort of make an impact through AI? How can they do that? And what do you think they should do, throughout 2025, given the available tools right now, as I'm sure there'll be more and more, released throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, as in every market, marketing is completely disrupted by AI, not just in the tools available, but also in the way that marketers have to market. So one term I threw out there, which I don't know how many of your audience members would be familiar with, but SEO, search engine optimization, is how marketers have tried to rank in search engines, which is typically where people will type in a search phrase and get an answer and go to a website. With the dawn of AI and so many people just going to answer engines, like, I don't need a search engine, I just need an answer. The way that marketers have to adapt to answer these prompts, which are not like a search phrase, like that's not how they're prompted, that's not how they're it's a completely different approach to what we, since the early 2000s, have been targeting for ranking on search engines. So that, that's one transformative way that marketers and marketing have to adapt to be able to market in 2025, is that adoption of AI is only increasing. And so that change is happening. We're running tests with our clients right now and all sorts of content marketing to test how AEO is affecting and impacting what that search engine is, right? I did talk a lot last year, and I believe it was the session that I gave at the partner marketing event around how Microsoft partners could use AI to transform their marketing. And actually, we had a great lively discussion in that room. Like I did talk about it, but there were so many great ideas. It was such a great session of just like collective discussion around how we were using it, what tools were being used, what people were finding effective. It was a fun place to be able to just talk about how people were using it. But we went on and did a follow-up session. We have a webinar on our website on how partners can effectively use AI, and it's here to stay. You're going to have to figure out how to use it. It's not going anywhere, but it is a tool. Like, it's a tool like any other marketing tool. So they can go to mavencollectivemarketing.com and watch that on demand now. It's free. It's there. Go ahead and find it. And I would say, most importantly, I think when partners think about AI and marketing, and I feel like you would back me up here on this, Adam, is that it does not replace the experience and expertise and know-how of your marketing team, of your marketing strategists. Like,
I agree.
It's certainly a great tool. It's helping us
Hmm.
find efficiencies in ways we hadn't before, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
can't replace, we're 20 years in the Microsoft partner system, partner ecosystem ourselves. Like, to try to think that AI understands that nuance, understands that
Oh,
relational
sure.
value, can give you the
Hmm.
answers that someone like you, Adam, or someone like myself that have been in this system, been in this ecosystem, has seen the evolution and has the experience to draw on it. It's just not that. But
Yeah,
it
I
can
agree.
help you gain speed and efficiency. It just
Hmm.
won't replace human intelligence and experience.
Yeah, the speed and efficiency, I agree with 100%. Um, I think it can give you somewhat of a baseline for an idea, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it needs that human touch. It needs that human finesse. It needs that element of human creativity to kind of move it forward. So I completely agree with you. I don't see any AI tools replacing marketing teams. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Actually,
yeah.
there was a really cool, I'll give like one example of
Mhm.
how AI has helped just with ideation, like you were saying.
Sure.
I was at headquarters in Redmond at a communications event, and they had the chief communication officer up there speaking from Microsoft, Frank. And
Hmm.
one thing that he said that was just like blew my mind about prompts, and I don't know why I didn't think about this before, was, when he's brainstorming, he doesn't say like, give me a title for XYZ. He's like, give me 25. Like, give me
Hmm.
25 titles right out the gate. And then, I'll pick a few to ideate on. But if you try to
Sure.
go to a colleague and say, give me 25 titles for
Yeah. Yeah.
XYZ, you know, they would be furiously trying to
Yes.
come up with 20, and that wouldn't be in a microsecond that you'd have 25
No.
titles.
No.
It would
No.
be an exercise they'd come back to you later that
Oh
day.
yeah.
So just the power in ideating with AI to get that much further faster. Now you have to be aware that AI repeats itself.
Hmm.
It's learning from what everything else is out there. So you still have to bring that human element. You still have to be able to bring those unique ideas and perspectives that only you can create, being, a creator and not a learning engine that's just learning
Sure.
everything that's out there. But I just, as I mean, so basic, but
Yeah.
how much faster do you get these 25 ideas that you can ideate on?
Exactly. I agree 100%. So there's a lot of different things that partners need to do when it comes to AI, aside from marketing, aside from kind of adapting it, to their own technologies that they create, and sort of learning all about them from Microsoft. And then there's the other huge part of it, which is how do they talk about it to their clients?
Mm.
Because it's one thing for them to know, but if they want their clients to adopt it, what do you think? What's a good approach for partners to take to discuss AI with their clients and everything that's available?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is an area that everyone's navigating. I mean, we're navigating it. We're
Yeah.
talking to our clients about AI. I'm sure you're talking to your clients about AI. So
Hmm.
it's certainly something that in most industries you're having to navigate this interesting tool that also presents a level of risk and a level of compliance and a level of, insecurity, job instability, all of these things. So I mean, I'll tell you what we do is it just takes a strong communication consistently to help establish boundaries of where,
Hmm.
you and your clients want to use AI and agree that it's useful, not detracting or not harmful. Um, Make sure that you have a defined value of like, what do you want to get out of AI? Because that helps you stay attuned to the goal.
Hmm.
And um, as I said, like for us and for our clients, like it doesn't replace what we do for them.
Yeah.
Certainly a nice tool to use, and it can get us, for example, ideating or drafting faster, but it doesn't help with building unique strategy, positioning, approach, and
Hmm.
that would be the same, I feel like, for partners having that conversation about AI. Some partners may look at it as a risk. Like, there are things that clients ask me to do that now maybe AI
Hmm.
can do for them.
Hmm.
But all of that work of how do you create the boundaries in which AI can do that for them? And then
Sure.
how do you help evolve how AI can be used moving forward to get further value out of it, to, maybe AI can do something at a greater scale and at a faster scale than the human that was doing it, but that human still needs to teach AI how to do it, or give it,
Yeah.
the framework so it can do it. And so it's a real opportunity for partners to open that new body of work with their clients and have that different conversation with their clients. And so rather than seeing it as a risk or a fear, and there are some clients that feel that way as well, just getting that first conversation and continuing those strong communications around it and defining that value, in our experience, makes it all the difference.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I agree. I like when you said the client really needs to sort of have a defined need in mind for AI. So they don't necessarily look at it as holistically, but they look at it in a way to help optimize a very specific thing that they need. And I think when you put it in the context of that, I think that's a lot more palatable for users to really understand. Because then it becomes, yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Oh, I was just going to say, and giving them real scenarios of AI. So right now, AI is like this kind of superfluous, can do everything. And also, I don't understand exactly what it can do.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
It's kind of scary and big. And how does it actually help me? So I'll draw back to this client that's heavily using AI in specific industries. One example they gave us today was like for healthcare. One of their clients is in nursing homes, and there's menus of food and there's also supplies of food. And of course, those things have to coexist. So they are actually putting the supplies of food against the menus that they have, like the palatable menus and kind of the dietary menus that they need to deliver to their patients in their care, and determining when these menus, are determining how this ingredients can then fit into how they roll out their menu. So it's like, I have X amount of carrots, this and chicken and broccoli, and this menu item has those same ingredients. So like that gets scheduled for a Monday because all of that fresh came in on a Sunday. And it's actually determining that menu and fitting the dietary needs and making sure that they're maximizing use of food without spoilage. And that's just by loading raw ingredients and menus into, and number of meals and all of those things, dietary restrictions, into AI, and AI is interpreting that. Something that typically a manager would have to do and talk to so many people and get all of that information. Like it actually can just like roll out the menu with that information involved.
Yeah. So practical application.
Really make it, and that that was a use case showing them something else that was happening in healthcare.
Sure.
They also gave us a great demonstration on a doctor's office calling and confirming appointments using an AI voice, which was very cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
And the dialogue was like, take them through, confirm, name and birth date, and that they still can come in at the time they can't. Oh, they can't come in at the time they can't. You can actually hook an API into a scheduling calendar so that they can give them other options. It automatically gets scheduled.
That is pretty cool.
That's
really, I can see how that would be super efficient.
Yeah. So just giving your clients, even like opening the door with these really little use cases that may be something that they need, or may be something that they don't need, but a different need comes out of seeing it used that way. That's a great way to open the conversation and define that kind of boundary and need out of the gate. So it's not this just like superfluous idea of this crazy technology that they could not understand how it would apply in their unique scenario.
Interesting. It's a very cool way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So and we could talk about AI probably for another 36 hours. Yeah. So
and I'm sure they could listen to other people talk about AI for even longer.
Exactly.
So, we should wrap it up.
But I'm going to switch gears here for just a little bit, because I think it's important for partners to know a little bit more about AppSource and sort of how they can use it. I want to talk about that just a little bit because I know how knowledgeable you are about AppSource and how partners can use it. And I think would be super awesome for the audience to kind of hear how you think AppSource can really be used to kind of help them showcase their business and their solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I've been around the Microsoft ecosystem a long time. So I remember when AppSource came out and we were looking at it for so many of our clients and being like, it's only products, and it's only this type of products, and this whole marketplace is only for this specific type of partner, and we don't have all of our partners in that bucket. It has come a long way. It has completely transformed to be the place, which, again, I'm going to give you kind of a little bit of a history lesson, I guess, into, there used to be, the Microsoft Partner Network, and that was a place where partners could go, have a profile. And then there was this AppSource thing, and then there's this Azure Marketplace thing, and they were all separate, and you had to manage all of these things. Well, when Microsoft decided to rename the Microsoft Partner Network into the Microsoft AI Cloud Partner Program, that name's changed a few times, and taken everything under this one umbrella of how partners would partner with Microsoft and the types of tools and opportunities that would be available to partners. All of that got wrapped into one. And so AppSource got a bit of a facelift. It got opportunities to be something more to a greater group of partners, not just product, not just ISV, but consulting services. Now there's all these really unique situations where you can have private offerings. I mean, the use case for AppSource continues to go on. Why AppSource is still relevant for partners in 2025, as we're talking, like what should partners be thinking about, is its use cases are expanding. I mean, I probably went to four sessions dedicated to AppSource and Azure Marketplace at Microsoft Ignite. And every time I went to one, it was something new that was coming to be available through AppSource, or how partners could be partnering better with Microsoft with AppSource, or how partners could be bringing unique offerings together as partners in AppSource. So it is something that Microsoft has heavily invested in and continues to invest in, and creates new opportunities for partners. And with that, we actually developed a proprietary tool last year for partners to be able to start auditing what they've put in AppSource to ensure that they're getting the most out of what they can from AppSource. Yeah, so they can go in and rate themselves against competitors, and it's really fast, it's really easy, it's a self-audit, it's very affordable. They can go to our website, mavencollectivemarketing.com, it's under products. And this is a really good step from looking at, we've published and audited hundreds of Microsoft AppSource listings. And it's from all of that knowledge that we've developed this benchmark and framework that partners can now take advantage of. And depending on, where they sit in those listings, because it will give you a scorecard, it will give you recommendations. If they want to reach out and have extra help that's tailored to teaching them how to make their AppSource listings more effective, obviously that's something that we do with Microsoft partners each and every day. And it's something that, we're happy to share our knowledge on. And like you said, Adam, I've spoken on this a few times. So there's a webinar on our website about this as well.
Very cool. I'm going to check that out. I don't know if I knew about that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Awesome. So before we wrap up, or I should say, as we wrap up, what's new? We've talked about, how partners can get ready for 2025. What is Maven doing for 2025, and what can we expect from Maven this year?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking that. That's something that we're still defining. I feel like we redefine maybe every quarter, but probably the things that we're most excited about. Well, we're excited to be back at Dynamics Con Partner Marketing event with you, Adam. This year we'll be there in Chicago. So that's fun. We are also planning to be at Directions North America, just waiting to hear if our sessions got selected. So hoping to see and meet more partners and say hi to partners that we know so well there. But probably the thing that we're really, really most excited about is this benchmarking report from the survey that we launched last year, because we've had really great feedback, both from partners that have taken it. We've gotten feedback from Microsoft and some Microsoft employees that have been so kind to promote it for us and are waiting for results from us as well. That is really what we're most excited about to unveil to partners this year, because again, it's just like we can give them the one-off answer of, hey, we work with this partner and they've had success in AppSource in this way, and hey, we work with that partner and they've gotten funded from Microsoft in that way. But it is kind of this, here's a one-off scenario, here's a one-off scenario. Like we would rather answer it with data and give them a larger profile and scale to those answers. And so we're really excited to showcase that this year.
Yeah.
And given that it's our 13th year in the space as a digital marketing agency for Microsoft partners, we have a huge array of resources for partners to go access at any time. So you learned about a few more today, Adam. Webinars, AppSource. We have an AppSource checklist for when you're publishing your AppSource listings. We have lots of on-demand content. We have guides to launching like a Copilot offering. So that was what I'd say, for partners in 2025, if you just want good resources that have been developed by people that have been in the space a really long time and it's free to you and you can go learn, highly recommend you visit our website and check them out.
Awesome. Great. And I will do the same too.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. I'm really excited about that benchmark report. Love that stuff. Very cool.
Yeah, you guys do a great one too. So, I mean, I think there's lots of good literature in the market for partners to learn from what other partners are doing well. And
I agree completely. Once again, I really want to thank you for kind of joining this conversation. It was awesome. You bring such amazing knowledge of what partners are doing and how partners should, work more efficiently and what they should do from a marketing perspective. Is just super valuable stuff. So I just really want to give you a big thanks for being on the podcast. Yeah, it was awesome to talk with you as always. So thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Adam. And it's always lovely to talk to you. It's always lovely to be part of the Microsoft Dynamics world. And I look forward to our next event.
Thank you. Awesome.